coming at you from the Red Alert 2 2023 World Cup, and we are here in the Professional Division Grand Finals. Now, this tournament is broken up into 3 different game modes. Each of the game modes will have its own Grand Finals and its own champion. We have Yuri's Revenge, we have Blitz, and today we got the OG original Red Alert 2 and a couple of the best going at it. We got Marko the GOAT dominating at the top level for over a decade. This guy has more professional titles than any other human being on Earth by a long shot, but he's facing off against Kwos the Death Robot, and he's looking scary, already proving himself in this tournament by taking down Kian the Octo Kid. Both these guys are hungry. Let's go. Get the hype going here. Ed, how you feeling? Kwos and Marko, what do we know?
Oh man, it's gonna be a nice one, dude. Last time we saw this map, we had a weasel in the game who was taking oils. I don't know if these guys are gonna be taking any oils though, but it is a vulnerable spot. We saw one of them kind of end the game from taking that oil, and then I mean just rebuilding engineer trying to retake it, and that pillbox coming in over and over.
Yeah, so in regular Red Alert 2 mode, guys, just a reminder, you cannot engineer each other's buildings, but you can engineer each other's tech. So when you get a player like Legend in here, he sees these techs as a fun target. He kept taking them, building sentry guns, being annoying. I love this forward tech right here the players can build off of, get them right in the center of this map. And it's a small map, but Root, the master map maker, we have seen Allied win on it so far in the tournament. And it's fun when you get a small map that has those kind of elements. Eagle's out now to try to help with these Rhino numbers early on.
Yeah, remind me, both Allieds won on this map last time, right?
Oh, that's right. I think our last game, I think we said Allied won both ways, yeah.
Yeah.
So the Eagles, single Eagle to try to chip at those Rhinos, Grizzlies and Dogs. Now we're going to play the pillbox game. Kwos looking to put some pressure on with this Soviet here.
Yeah, nothing should really harass down there. The miners on the top side mining some gems. 3 miners on the small little gem patch. I'm pretty sure he's gonna have another refinery ready pretty soon. The MCV looks so naked out there, huh?
Yeah.
It's just kind of like by itself.
Oh, what about the 1GI? The 1GI holding it down. Love that.
Oh yeah, he'll protect it. Don't worry.
And it is, yeah. So again, guys, this flex faction. So he does get the American paradrop, and he also has the airport on this island. So Kwos sneaks that paradrop in. It goes AFK. Probably could have grabbed that power plant.
Wakes up, and he is going for the power plant now.
And Marko pulls the miner back to defend the power plant. Very, very nice. Does defend that power plant. Nice. And here comes the dive. And Marko's the kind of player. A lot of times you see a player, his MCV's alone, his army's out of position, I can go grab it. Marko does this like a matador, flaps the blanket, tries to trick you into it, and then is ready to pounce. But these Rhino numbers are getting scary. This position, Marko has the higher ground, but does give it up. Now Kwos, even ground here. Marko need to get some pillbox out. Marko only broke, not gonna have a ton of pillbox support. Uses the Eagle to, does get a hit on one of the Rhinos. So using the Eagles, using everything he can to try to hold here. Could use a defensive paradrop. His paradrops seem to get cleaned up anywhere they go on this map, and Kwos just looking for gaps in the armor here. Both players showing each other a lot of respect. Nothing yet, but the storm is brewing.
Yeah, Marko, what is it called? Marko's doing a good job dropping paradrops in key positions, but Kwos is responding so well, not even letting those paradrops really land and take like any kind of positioning. Huge tank fight. Marko going straight in here, a little bit past his pillbox, and no more fodder for Marko here in this little fight. Bringing in some dogs now, but his Grizzly numbers are coming down.
Grizzly numbers, and you see the way he's trying. He's pouncing on these Rhino tanks. It's good unit control. Those Rhino numbers are scary. I mean, I don't know if Marko has the guns for this, but his unit control's been decent. I just don't know if he has the numbers, and he doesn't have the amount of pillboxes he wants either because his money keeps running out. Kwos 4K in the bank, so this Rhino storm is going to continue on here as we hit 3 war factories. So these Rhino numbers are scary. Marko's been landing hits with that Eagle, but I just don't think it's going to be enough here. I feel like his economy got out of position early on, and he's been going broke a lot.
Yeah, he really has, and most importantly in that fight, I feel like it was such a fodder disadvantage for Marko.
Yeah.
He needed a lot more fodder there, especially with the Connies that came in at the very end. More dogs definitely would have helped him there. He is trying to hold here, but I'm not sure for how much longer. He has no more Grizzlies on the field anymore, and Marko has reinforcements coming in on the bottom side as well. So yeah,
an absolute breakdown of Marko's economy, going to give Kwos that win. Curious as to know where he tried to go early AFC. He only brought out 1 Eagle. Certainly you'd think his economy could have supported that. I don't know, maybe built too much fodder. It's hard to say where the breakdown was exactly, but Marko going broke at some really crucial moments there. But over to point number 2 now, best of 7. So the show does go on here. So now Marko plays Soviet. They do switch factions as well. Sorry guys, I'm getting distracted. We got so much going on in the chat. Polier with a bunch of gifted sub. Woo's dude with a resub. Some of the stuff might have scrolled past me, but appreciate all the support, guys. Thanks for the follows as well. Thanks for tuning in here. Appreciate you guys. It's been a good year so far. Stick around tomorrow. We have the Yuri's Revenge finals. Marko versus Legend in the Yuri's Revenge finals. And that wraps up World Cup, and that wraps up for the year of tournaments. I'll be off for a while after that. So I still think, yeah, I think Marko, you know, this best of 7 switching factions, sometimes I think these guys, you know, we've seen it before where Marko maybe is just kind of like, hey, this is a Soviet map, and I think Marko's really confident in his ability to get a win with Soviet here, and I think in some ways that takes his pressure off his Allied point. He's like, fuck it, you know, I don't have a plan for Allied, I'm going to win my Soviet, it'll be 1-1, let's get to the next map, and yeah, that could certainly be the case here, but going to have to get the win, and this map is playable for Allied, as we've seen.
Yeah, that's one way of thinking it. But Kwos is OP as Allied as well, so Marko is gonna have to fight for that win. He's not just gonna get it just because he's Soviet. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Kwos already with the Grizzly out here. I like this build a little bit better by Kwos here. Doesn't have to build a refinery all the way into that gem patch. Just putting on the top side is fine for him. Getting the gems early on here.
Oh, that's...
He won't have financial issues here too much.
So Marko base stretched down, had a refinery on those gems, and then sold his backside refinery. Yeah, that doesn't quite add up, I don't think. Interesting, though. Yeah, and so... Yeah, and you know, the paradrops... Marko, I would say Marko's paradrops, I mean, he got quite a few in, right? He's double paradrops, and he really didn't get much out of them last time. Kwos, we talked about Kwos doing a great job jumping on him, whereas Kwos's conscripts caused some backside noise, also helped in a few battles. That really could have been a big part of it. We'll see if Kwos learns from what Marko did wrong here and finds a way to get more value out of his paradrops.
Yeah, I mean, we can always like break it all down and be like, oh yeah, Marko could have done this, could have done that, and of course, like I feel like I have to mention this because I'm always like, oh, he should have, could have. Oh, wait, what? Oh, whoa, oh.
Oh, Kwos.
All right.
Gets the AFC out. Gets the but sorry, but yeah, I mean, you're right. You can break down every single thing and start splitting hairs. At the end of the day, it's like, oh, and now Kwos.
Kwos. Marko out of position here. Kwos going straight in for that miner is going to take the miner. He does have to be careful here. So, oh, a flat cannon comes out instead of a sentry gun. That's huge for Kwos. He can actually engage in this if he doesn't wait too long. Now a sentry gun should probably be ready. He needs to be careful here. He does have the Grizzly numbers. He needs to stick with it, man.
Yeah, and his fodder's a bit out of position. Marko's only like a couple stray dogs here. Now Marko has a sentry gun coming. Marko will try to edge back to that sentry gun in theory here. Kwos has to pull out. Now, Kwos, you look at money in the bank, right? People say, why do they sell the MCV? You sell the MCV for that chunk of money, and early game, in theory, those extra few tanks, a little juice you can get, can catapult you to an early victory. But, of course, key word there, early victory. Once you sell the MCV, obviously you're in the pressure cooker. You got to try to make something happen. And Kwos, Kwos has got to make something happen, gearing up a lot of GIs in the middle.
Yeah, he did get one miner out of it, not the value he wanted, not the value he needed, especially for this type of game that he just set up. And then Marko's paradrop on the top side here is TTing him back home, it seems like. Accident here. He could have taken that refinery there, and if he kills that refinery, it's basically GG.
Devastating.
Let's have another refinery over here, but... yeah, he's gonna be able to deal with that. Looks like a TT there, mistake.
Yeah, he actually pulled the conscripts off. So now the Eagles are out. He's repairing his Grizzlies, and Marko again having some financial issues here. He has had to build 2 flak cannons, which is annoying, but not switching over to flak tracks, trying to keep his Rhino numbers up. But Marko's still scraping the bottom of the barrel. Now Kwos just starting to run out of money, but more coming in. He's got a pretty good refinery position on that back island. Now Ed, wild card moves here. Certainly viable to build up. You could put your allied production on the island, destroy that bridge, maybe do something. Well, okay, we'll get to that later. All right, GI's now coming, Grizzlies coming. Kwos has got to get this push. Marko knows he just has to hold. He's up in MCV.
Yeah, I want to see Kwos split here. He has a lot of GIs to help support his front push here. If he sends like 3 Grizzlies around to Marko's MCV, he might get him out of position. He might force a mistake and error. We've seen Marko kind of falling asleep behind the wheel there a couple times. So if you run around a little bit, he may force an error off of Marko. But engaging like this straight on, I mean, this could work.
Yeah,
that's a lot of GIs.
Marko pulls the miners. Marko pulls the miners to help, and Kwos does exactly what he wants there. He gets Marko between his own base and Kwos' army. Now Kwos brings the GIs in, and Marko sells the MCV, gets some more money, and he knows he has to hold. Oh, it's a lot of Grizzlies.
That's a lot of fodder, a lot of Grizzlies, and he makes it happen. 3 miners, a bunch of rhinos and dogs, not enough for that devastating push that Kwos just brought out. Jesus Christ.
And we talked about getting more value out of your paradrops. Certainly that's one word for it. He geared them all up. Perfect micro, perfect unit control. Damn, that was spicy. Yeah, you love to see it. Now we are over to Allied versus Soviet here on the mazed out map by route also, but this is France. So now Kwos playing France. Now this map, I could easily see coming out of this map with 2 wins for Marko. I think both his experience as a France killer and particularly as a France player, big advantages I would say for Marko here. So we'll see if he can 2-0 and bring this back to 2-2. But yeah, what we were saying though, it's interesting. You know, you're like, oh, he just needs to do this, he just needs to do that, and it's like, well, a lot easier when you're not getting punched in the face. And like Root's pointing out in the chat, even if Marko had gone a deso, there was Eagles, so he would have had to pump multiple desos, and yeah, it would have been tough. I mean, that GI, it was really well played by Kwos.
Yeah, it was him putting himself in that position as well. Like we talk about, on paper everything's easy, but the way that you move around the map really plays a big factor on, is what you said on paper gonna be able to be viable based on how the units are moving around the map. Like, and yeah, of course, we're bringing in the Eagles being short, that close, and yeah, one deso can destroy everything, but what are the chances you're going to get to deploy that deso, given the fact that you have 2-3 Eagles coming at you all the time, you know?
Yep. And that's what people miss. You know, I would say every 36 hours, I get a comment on YouTube that says, just want to say that as someone who doesn't know the game that well or whatever, I find this kind of boring because it's just dog rhino spam. And it's like, well, if you don't know the game, if you don't know where to look and what to look at, and you don't understand the dexterity of the game, it's a dexterity game. It's not rock paper scissors. A lot of newer RTS games, like Rivals, for example, it's just like he builds that. It's like a big game of rock paper scissors. There is the rock paper scissors element to Red Alert 2, but it's a dexterity game. It's not about how many rhinos you even have or how you counter it's about what you do, the individual clicks. And I think that's what's really difficult for people that don't have a lot of experience with the game to appreciate. Like what Kwos was doing there, like his POV, moving those GIs, deploying them, you know, using the Grizzlies, like it's artistry, you know, it's beauty to it.
Well, let me just go off of that. Let me just tell you one game. Personally, I've faced it, and I've seen other players face the same issue, and this particularly against Woody. Woody has a way of, and you look at the stats, he has a way of moving around the map and his tanks and how he positions himself to where you look at the stats and it's like, oh, I built 10 tanks, Woody built 10 tanks. Woody killed 10 tanks and I killed 1 tank. How does that happen? You know, how does that happen? And it's because of the way he moves around the map, the way he catches you, the way he forces mistakes, and people don't realize that 10 tanks versus 10 tanks is just not smash and go, you know, like play around nicely with them, you know, and learn how to move around the map.
We should really make a video to see. I wonder like how many tanks, like if Woody could beat 5 to my 20. You know, that would really show people, like, it's not just Rhino spam. Like, Woody could probably beat 5 to 20. 5 to 15 for sure. Maybe 20 is too many. 5 to 15 for sure.
There has to be other variables on the map. Like if you go Rhino Wars, like just a map with just 10 Rhino, of course, you know, I mean, the numbers are going to win, you know, but there has to be so many variables that he can play around and move around and bait and whatever it is.
And switch and confuse. There has to be some red herrings. You have to be able to throw them off and obviously use a fodder.
Exactly.
But in a real game setting, it's incredible what a player like that can do. So all right, so now the cannon out, Kwos walking towards the center, so getting established. He had that early MCV move, cannon on the backside, cannon on the front side. I like this cannon up on the cliff. It's an interesting map. Again, you know, I mentioned before, but, you know, Root and I, we were talking about what France map to use for World Cup. We decided on this one. It's not like a traditional France walk a cannon into your base situation. There's quite a lot of space to walk. However, Marko walking right towards Kwos, so the cannon could be in range of a building here very shortly, but so far both players just getting geared up. We have seen some players switch over to tech on this map as well. Gotta think Marko wants to get over to tech here sometime soon.
Yeah, and Marko building toward Kwos is kind of a ballsy move here, considering he has gems, all those gems on the bottom left side of his base. He's moving his MCV toward it now, and I feel like that's the only. Whoa! I was gonna say that's his only option, but Marko goes straight into the cannon here.
Wow.
Does not give a single F. Yeah, questionable play here. He knows better than me though. Comes out even in that exchange, despite having cannons in his face.
Just getting pummeled. Now, the cannon AoE effect, if you're right in a mosh with enemy tanks, presumably their tanks are taking a bit of damage, but generally speaking, what you saw there is not a great idea, and the base walk's coming here, so...
It's there. Jesus, he's already hitting the Rhino tanks at his front step. Another barracks comes out. You gotta think, yeah, how many MCVs does he have yet? He only has one, so cannons are not coming out as fast as they can be, but they're coming regardless.
I mean, is there anything going for Marko right now? We're just seeing this little bit of yeah, you just don't expect to see this kind of confusion. Marko, the Rockies on the backside are gonna snipe this MCV. Marko has no anti-airbag there.
Black Cunning comes out, but it's a great sacrifice there. Give away like split. 10 Rocketeers for that ref is so good.
Yep, and now backside split. Marko has a few Rhinos to match. Marko gonna shift all the way to the moon here. Rockies, okay, now, and Marko's still using flat cannons. Kwos does get a War Factory. Marko goes to the moon and is gonna, now, he's just trying to find a gap in these cannons. Does he stop for the MCV? No, he takes the cannon. Good idea, because there's a service depot. That MCV wouldn't be as much. It wouldn't be worth losing the army for. Marko on the run now, but so many Grizzlies.
I mean, Marko still has 4K. Miners are long distance mining, so the fact that he has so many miners on the field and there's gems, it's keeping him afloat. But for how long here? He does have how many? 1, 2. He had like 5 war factories earlier. Now he's down 3 war factories, so he's being forced to sell off buildings. He's losing buildings by cannons in the front, while Kwos' base is just expanding even more.
Kwos did his homework. Kwos seems like a sell by sell strategy here for Kwos. And Marko just as we've seen from Marko, kind of a learn on the fly kind of guy. At this point, grinding this game for this long, you don't expect Marko to stay up doing his homework sometimes on the maps. We've seen that before, where he'll come into events and you kind of see him kind of learn. Like, I mean, he's already played this map in the tournament. I'm not making excuses for Marko. I just mean, generally speaking, we'll see him kind of ramp up his gameplay as the series goes on. The problem is, by the time Marko gets his head on straight here, Kwos, the series could be over. It's a best of 7.
Yeah.
So,
and arguably, Marko does that whole ramping up against players who are arguably, again, lesser skilled than him, and I feel like Kwos has officially just leveled up over Marko, dude. Like he's a step above Marko, and that goes with any game type. You put him on any game type, Blitz, Yuri's, Rattler 2, SFJ even. Kwos is he's become so good at this game. So even if Marko is trying his hardest here, even if he's trying to analyze, I mean, it's Kwos he's going up against. He's not just
True.
some other guy.
Yeah, and that's a good point. Is that if Marko needs to know exactly, because even on traditional maps, Kwos and Marko right now flip a coin, So on these kind of maps, the smaller map pool like this, where they can study it, I mean, this is just, what do you quit out now? This is like the Anaconda strategy. Completely surround your enemy with cannons. You don't even have to kill anyone. You just completely surround them and force them into submission. Marko dropping refineries everywhere. I guess his plan is to try to get a massive economy and then pull something out of his hat. And look at Kwos, just a little sends a couple guys over the trenches, jumps in the enemy trench, kills one miner, runs home. Rockies on the backside, MCV exposed. Kwos doesn't see that MCV. Lucky for Marko.
Yeah, lucky for Marko right now. He's literally just hanging on. I mean, he has a lot of tanks, so I mean, technically anything can still happen. He does have a fighting force. He has units out in the field, so he can make something happen. But Kwos really has to fall asleep for this to even if Kwos falls asleep, there's a lot of cannons.
Yeah.
A lot of cannons.
If Kwos fell asleep for the next 3 minutes, Marko would have to try to eat an elephant, and by the time the elephant woke up, he might only have one leg down. I mean, well, the problem is Kwos now has 3 MCVs. I mean, God knows how many cannons, a weather storm, battle ab tech. Marko's going to bring a split on both sides, but I don't know. One of these forces, he gets an MCV, does get an MCV. One of these forces is going to have to find a few power plants and try to shut down these cannons because there's cannons everywhere.
Yeah, there's cannon everywhere. Loses the rhinos on the right side. However, rhinos on the left side are trying to get some value here. Does kill off one cannon, pushes off a couple of the grizzlies here, inching his way toward one of the 3 MCVs that he has out there. Not sure if that's gonna be, yeah, and grizzlies come in to support, and yeah.
It's rare to see Marko try to take an MCV like that. Marko's the kind of guy, you'll see his discipline of not clicking down an MCV even when it's the only one, if it means he's going to lose his army. So in a position like this, almost like in chess, you know, that spite check, you know, you give him a check even though there's no chance to turn it into a mate. Marko, I think, wanted that MCV just to try to collect a little bit of more morale to bring home after this battle, because it's hard to scrap anything positive out of this for Marko.
Yeah. TKO, Ivor. TKO.
The TKO. That is absolutely right. Yeah, he's like leaning against the ropes. And me and Ed are in the corner. Do we throw the towel? Kwos is just smoking him in the face. Mouth guards on the ground.
Marko is like, no. He's giving us that side. I don't throw the towel yet. I got it.
I got this.
Okay, trying to pull out Rocky Balboa here.
We talk about Marko being cold-blooded. If there's one thing he does, it's that he doesn't tilt. So I don't know. Fingers crossed we get something out of this.
That's literally the best thing that you could have said that has Marko with like any kind of chance, is that he doesn't tilt. He just continues playing. He's cold-hearted. He's just stoic. So I mean, yeah, as far as tilt-wise, he's gonna play this game and he's still gonna try to come back from it. And I have seen people come back from like just match points, goose egg, and win. So he has a chance. It's Marko, right? After all,
you guys are either living to watch a blowout, the death of the GOAT, or you could be gearing up for quite possibly the best comeback of all time. We shall see here.
All time.
Oh, the GI gets eaten. I feel like that GI both symbolically and literally represented what's happening to Marko right now, as the GI gets eaten on the bridge. Not looking good. That was it. Quit,
Minute 1 and not looking good for Marko.
Up and over.
Marko's still here, boys. He's still awake. Micro's both those miners out. He saw the split. Got 2 cannons, and he's got a cannon on the backside as well. Plenty of fodder, plenty of grizzlies. Little split here on the right side. Oh, Kwos.
Dude. Let's just look at the stats here real quick. Kwos on 14k, 4 war factories. Battle Lab is out. He is completely set up for the next like 5-10 minutes here. Miners are inefficiently mining on the bottom side there, but he is putting them back onto the ore. Meanwhile, Marko on the other side, 3 war factories, does have cannons all over his base, and he has grizzly numbers to help defend, but he can't push out though, right? Like that's the idea behind cannons. Like they're there to like, help support you. But no, he's going straight in here. He's going to push past his cannons.
He's going straight in. Does he have the grizzlies for this? It looks like he does. Now he's coming down the higher ground. Sentry gun from Kwos. Oh, now these grizzlies are all about to pop. Reinforcements came through.
Yeah, he did find an opening there, and he caught Kwos in the middle of spamming Kirovs. 2 Kirovs come out.
Oh, yeah.
Which does slow his tank production down, which Marko's tries to take advantage of, but yeah, just that one single sentry gun to support the rhinos.
And the 5 war factories. Yeah, it's an interesting, that kind of audio cue as the attacking player. As soon as you hear Kirov's reporting, to think, okay, he's gonna have a few less rhinos coming out right now. Let's try to take a bite. Almost did wash that there, but now that he has to go over to IFVs, honestly, you know, Marko did pretty much wash those rhinos out. Now allows himself to get over to Mirage Tech. He's on 10k. Mirage is pumping. Not the worst thing that's ever happened for Marko, certainly.
Yeah, definitely not the worst thing. I feel like he could have used those grizzlies a little bit better though. Typically, like I keep saying this, could have, should have, but you can run around with grizzlies all around the map and not fear losing your base, because you have all these self-defensive structures. So you can just leave half your army and use half of the other ones to run and get value, you know, whether it's sniping an MCV that's walking toward bottom left right now, or if it's like sniping refineries, miners, whatever it is, you know. IC gets popped by Kwos here. He's going to go straight into it here. Goes for the ore purifier. That's a great target right there. Ore purifiers are super strong.
Yeah, but his backside tanks got a little bit befuddled. He only barely got that ore purifier out of it. Oh, but the Kirov now coming. IFE's still there. Oh, and then the Kirov takes that forward cannon, buying himself some time. What do you think about Kwos building up into this cannon zone again? We saw this same kind of build stretch give Marko a lot of issues building into the France players' cannons. Do you question this for Kwos?
Not at this point, only because Kwos is so much further ahead here. So if Marko really put a cannon there, I mean, Kwos can just get another Kirov, push it in. Yeah. I feel like he's in a better position, at least to counter and fight against it. But I mean, it's still France, and it's still a cannon in your face, so.
Yep, and now the Desolators come out, and APOCs are out. Oh my god, the YouTubers are going to love this. Every 48 hours, 36 hours, someone says, why is it just Rhino spam? Every 2 days, someone says, where are the APOCs? I used to wreck my cousin with APOCs. And we have an APOC out, maybe. Oh, no, it's not a misclick. There are multiple. Okay, Desolators out as well. Remember, guys, this Flex Factions only applies to, okay, Mirages and Rhinos to stand his ground. I don't know if there's a Deso Bomb in there or if that's just a
There might be. He doesn't even need it, though. Yeah. Kills one group of Mirage tanks like that. And that's what Marko likes to do, right? I mean, I'm not sure if he did it on purpose there, but he likes to keep Mirage tanks in different groups in case that bomb comes out, too.
Has a Deso Bomb. And the APOCs just rolled through a Grand Cannon. And wow. Now Desolator's going to take out the Mirage side, bottom split. These APOCs, dude, APOCs, cannon counters, new meta, love it.
Yeah, they are taking a lot of damage right now. It looks like he fell asleep there for a second. On the bottom side,
from Marko, going to go out of nuclear reactor.
Oh, Mirage tanks fall out. Well, he's all over the place. So on the right side, bottom right, he had IVs. On bottom left, he has a bunch of Mirage tanks that are about to harass these miners. In the center, he's dealing against some Rhinos. Things that are happening everywhere.
He's holding in the center. That backside split did get a nuclear reactor, Elite Grizzly. Mirage tanks on the left side. Desolators phasing out. And this is one of those games where you have to appreciate, guys, these guys have to jump around the map and try to be everywhere. So every once in a while, you'll see a group of units not doing the right thing. Of course, that's why their human is not right behind him at that moment. So the Desolators, now remember, guys, the Flex Cat factions, France is just regular France. It's only America we're switching off. So when you have France, you just have France. So of course, no snipers here. So he's gonna have to deal with the Desolators the old-fashioned way. Gonna try to dive some Rockies right into a cannon. Don't think that's the move.
Oh. Yeah, he definitely just sent those Rockies down there and then looked away for sure here. He did get the IC earlier, so he has Kwos was forced to rebuild it. Gives him a little bit more time.
Oh, I didn't realize that's that backside army got the nuclear reactor and the IC. Okay, now a lot of Rhinos and the APOCs opening things up, prying back the lid, taking down one cannon. A lot of Mirage tanks, needs to be careful, pulls back to his cannon here. No action on the backside for the moment. Could be game-ending Rhino push here from Kwos. Yeah. Game-ending Rhino push from Kwos.
Yeah, no more units out for Marko. He does have a couple of Rocketeers that can help support this. Mirage tanks were all taken out. A couple more coming in now, but it's a lot of Rhinos.
Cannons, cannons slowing things down. Marko's got 14k. Oh, man, you forget what a bunch of cannons protecting each other can do. I kind of thought that was GG's there, but Marko holds. He's got 12k in the bank. If there's any light at the end of the tunnel, I was going to say Kwos's money is dwindling, but as I say that, it's not actually really true. And the IC's coming, and the APOCs are coming. Don't know. Marko tried to get an offense going this game. Last couple of games, I feel like he was suffocated in his crib. Couldn't even get anything going downfield. But this one did get a little offense going, but Kwos had answers.
Yeah, and I'm surprised that Marko, he hasn't gone like super weapons. He can go Chronosphere, he can go Weather Storm. He had the money for it. He's had the money for it for a while. I mean, he is struggling. Kwos is constantly attacking him, so he's probably preoccupied. But Kwos building super weapons, Marko is not, and that can definitely help swing things every now and then. You know, a little sneaky Chronosphere in the back with the Tanya IFE or something, and just kill off either IC or whatever threat he wants to really.
Yeah. I mean, the Chronosphere in the right hands is basically a cancel weapon for a single building, but you're right. I mean, something to get Marko scrapped together, some kind of offense here. Kwos has been going broke a little bit here. The APOCs, the IC APOCs, man, that's so great. I'm going to use that thumbnail on the YouTube cover. The YouTubers are going to be elated by these APOCs, which are actually doing quite a good job. Did you see this very often, first cannons? As I say that, they get wrecked.
It was at one point pretty good to use. Usually Sov versus Sov, when there is IC involved, I feel like they're not that efficient because you can just drone them, right? And the cost of APOCs are not worth. But anyways, if there is no super weapons, then usually it's pretty good. Against allies, it's fantastic. I mean, the APOC Deso push is iconic.
Kwos is about to lose so many miners. Marko just got a 5-pack.
Jesus.
5 at least. Yeah.
He shouldn't have sacrificed them though, right? Like he could have put him like on the edge of it instead of right in the middle of the miners, and then when the rhinos came, he could have put him on the cliff. Like just he didn't have to all die, right? I don't know. That's just me, maybe.
They were also split up shooting different targets. I don't know. It's hard to really tell at this point what's going on. I feel
IC's
like
ready.
Oof, nasty IC. Got so many tanks. And now it's Kwos' turn to go miner hunting. Marko's got about 1,000 miners right there. He's trying to pull them out of there. As soon as that IC's done, he's got the Rockies and the Mirages to clean up these rhinos, though. Marko did pull out those miners. Must have lost a couple.
Dude, Marko's not just he's pulling ahead here, actually. He is on $6 right now, but
Kwos is gonna. I think Kwos' economy is gonna catch up with him, right? I think in the last 2 minutes, Marko's had to have taken out. What do you think? 6, 7 miners, maybe? They were kind of under that bridge. Yeah. Maybe I lost count of them. Seemed like a lot.
How many miners does he have now? I mean, he has them all spread out right now. They're inefficiently mining, regardless if he has 10.
He's got 6, yeah. And now a little push here from Marko on this backside. Wow, this is weird, man.
Marko has this. Marko has this. He has this in the belt. For sure. There's no way that Kwos can attack him. I mean, he's going to try to attack him, right? But
well, and Marko has such a big base now. It's like Kwos, I mean... and Marko is going to pull back to defend. A good analysis here just because, I mean, and he's got the Mirages for it. Kwos just has to... Marko trying to micro those miners, trying to send them back to their refineries, throwing them out of harm's way. Kwos' backside gets chopped up. Now
Kwos forced to sell a bunch of buildings right now, too, to try to sustain and rebuild a little bit.
Traps off that retreat. So now all Kwos has going for him is this Iron Curtain, basically. Now forced to use a defensive Iron Curtain. God, you got to love that as a player. Every time you get the Soviet player to have to use a defensive Iron Curtain is always nice. Keep them off your doorstep with it.
And look at Marko. Yeah, you see it as well. A little sneaky backside split there. A couple Mirage tanks hunting for more miners, I'm sure.
Wow. This was like the death of the miners game. So many miners died this game for both players. Laid down their lives in this battleground. And Kwos repairing rhinos. He has every intention to close this game out. Obviously, still has the MCV. Still has the IC. No battle lab. Dead broke.
Kwos moves his MCV to the bottom left. There's 2 Mirage tanks just hovering over those gems, just waiting for that miner to come out, probably. He is zoning out the other set of Mirage tanks on the bottom side of the map.
Here we go.
He could probably put him on the cliff.
Miner hunting. Is this seem weird to you? Does it seem like Marko's splitting targets there? It seems like his Mirage are shooting different tanks. Why would that be the case? Why wouldn't he be targeting a single miner at a time? Well, now he is.
IC is ready. What can Kwos do with this IC, though?
Yeah, IC, but Marko's just got too much base to give, right? I mean, that's a lot of rhinos. And another cannon right there in his face. And Marko...
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like that cannon. He should have built it by the ore purifier.
Oh, yeah, should have given it some more space. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, so Rocky's back. This is a little annoying. A couple of Rhino in that group. Okay, now does use the IC. Mirage is coming back. And Marko... I don't know. I don't know anymore. I mean, it's tempting to think that Marko... okay. Oh... That IC got, Marko got a little chopped up in that. Now 2 elites, but the cannons are going to take everything out. Wow. Look at all the cannons trying to hit that one Rhino.
Yeah, we have a bunch of Mirage tanks running around the map still for Marko.
I mean, I feel like Marko's just, yeah, I mean, Marko's got to just get down and grab this MCV and then, okay. Wow, Ed! Are we smelling a comeback, boys? All right, guys, so this is the Tropic Thunder map by Madness. This is one of my favorite maps I've seen lately. I've been running some show matches on it. Every single game is so wacky and so much fun. Talk about being obviously a strong allied map for sure. It's a big map, but there's lots of lanes. These airports in the middle, usually we have some early action. There's some corner oils that pre-capture, so a lot of different places to hit and run. Early Navy's very viable, especially for Soviet here. I think late games, the paradrops and everything can kind of annoying. The Rocketeers, we've seen players rush Dreadnoughts early and get value, so we'll see. But yeah, in that last game, Ed, you talked about Kwos maybe getting a little cocky. Honestly, we've talked about it before, though. When you're up 3-0, and you are crushing Marko, it's hard to stay hungry. Like, it's hard to fight like you're starving if you have a full belly. You know what I mean? And so Kwos letting off the gas there a little bit, I guess just human nature, but Marko having the grit to claw his way back. Man, I'll tell you what, I would have rolled over and changed my username and never came back if I was Marko, so.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Kwos was playing it well. I don't want to say he threw necessarily, but he was, I feel like, flexing a little bit, right?
Yeah.
Like he had this, you can kind of tell he was a little flexer, like he had.
Yeah.
But anyways, I don't know if you should be flexing against Marko. If you have him down, kill him, please, because he's gonna come back and it's gonna bite you in the ass, and he proved it on last game, so.
Yep, that's absolutely right. Yeah, if you got him down, if you get him on the ground, and no mercy. Chop off his head, light him on fire, cockroach style, because Marko's a scary. If there's any breath in his lungs, I mean, that's the thing with Marko. He's never really defeated till the game's over. I guess that's really what it is with Marko, where there are some players where it's like, after some tilting bullshit, they're not going to recover. And Kwos, dude, in Kwos playing for keeps, man, he goes up and steals an oil top left.
All right. Damn. And build a sentry gun on the top side, sniping the pillboxes. That's funny.
Hey, you guys trigger a Yuri. You guys got the Acrobat Yuri. You don't get anything for that except some positive energy. Now, Kwos going at this airport. This is so important here for the Soviet player to cancel this out. The double paradrop on this map is so nasty, and I'm surprised to see Marko not commit more to holding that. I mean, that double paradrop, man, the gift that keeps giving would have been so nice to have. So Kwos already here, definitely getting the value that he needs early. Grabs the airport and steals Marko's oil and holds the oil, top left. So Kwos spreading himself out and looking for value with these rhinos. This right side expansion could be in trouble. Marko a little slow to respond.
Ooh. Jesus, Kwos is literally just all over Marko, and Marko's asleep. He's been asleep this game quite often now. Is he just literally giving this up, like this right side here? He's not even moving his Grizzlies one bit here. Does chrono his miners back, but you got to think, like, he's not just killing the oils, you're killing Marko's expansions, you're killing his ability.
You can't base walk over there. I mean, on this map, you cannot base walk. It's a massive amputation. And it always goes both ways. Marko when Marko looks asleep, it's generally because his opponent's doing something. Like, to make Marko look like he's doing amateur moves is obviously, is credit to the other player. In most cases, it's like, it means Kwos is doing a lot of things right to make Marko look like this. Rhino's now storming down the gate, and I love that Kwos isn't here. Kwos isn't. He's not messing around. He's not like, oh, I'm up a couple. Maybe I'll try this. Maybe I'll try that. Last game, he built some APOCs. He's like, all right, fuck the YouTubers. I'm not building any more APOCs. I'm going to send Rhinos down the throat the way I know how. He's on the doorstep. Marko over to tech, though.
Yeah, it's crazy. And he didn't even just take the oil, prevent Marko from taking the oil, but he also built a refinery there, and he's taking his own gems, he's in a great position. Naval comes out for Kwos, preemptive naval, making already subs, preventing Marko from getting ahead in the naval, because you know how, Legend didn't display the power that Allied have, but as soon as you get a couple of Dolphins, it's almost like impossible. If you don't have any subs already on the field, it's almost impossible to get a naval yard out.
Yeah, it's so important for the Soviet player to be proactive. Marko's going to get up and spend his entire army failing to reclaim his own oil, which is both disheartening and, of course, not valuable. The problem is Marko is now completely cut off on his own island. As soon as he starts running out of ore, it's going to be game over. Kwos could easily starve him out. I'd say Marko, Grizzlies on the backside and deal with this paradrop. I would say Marko maybe Marko has a couple wild card up his sleeve. I kind of thought it was going to be with the naval, and that still could be the case. We've seen Marko's ability to fight his way back from an established naval position already in this tournament, and the Dolphins are out. But I mean, this is the only thing Marko has going for him, really. He stops repairing the naval yard, so it's not going to work. But I don't know how else Marko's going to find value.
Yeah, no way. Matt, there is absolutely no way that you said that before I said that, dude. You definitely copy pasted what I just said verbally to text. I swear to God, I did not see.
Yeah.
And we literally said the exact same thing. Clause with preemptive subs. It's like basically, yeah. Swear to God, I did not even see you say that.
Matt,
You're literally copied me.
Matt in the chat, like, what the fuck, bro? Me in the booth, man. These guys stealing everything I say. All right, and
That's
dude,
so funny.
and Marko, and okay, and now here's the thing. This is not for glory up here. Marko needs to clear the sentry gun and get that engineer in, and he knows he's going to starve on this island if he doesn't. Now Battle Lab out. Now Marko they traded naval yards. There's no naval yard. Marko using his eagles to try to find value. And now look how annoying Kwos is being up here with these sentry guns. Marko has lost so many Grizzlies trying to reclaim this annexed oil. Oh my God, he failed. It didn't work. Wow. Wow. That is exhausting and disheartening. Marko back in the water. Back in the water on the other side. Dolphins are out.
Quasi's subs are on their way.
He's got it. He's got a good batch of Dolphins though, and Kwos has not rebuilt his naval yard. And you know, Marko's been sniping this backside tech. I think I've missed it a couple times, but I think he's canceled that battle lab a couple times now. No Iron Curtain and no Kirov. Dolphins over. See, Dolphin micro. Dolphin micro. I cannot believe.
Ooh, Kwos running down the center here with the Rhino tanks. Didn't see those Mirage tanks for a quick second there. Does lose a couple of Rhinos, but that's still a huge number of Rhinos there.
If there's any position for Mirages to hold, it would be a bottleneck like this, but the Desolators are there. Using splits the Eagles, takes out the Desolators. Nice map awareness from Marko. Iron Curtain now out for Kwos. Marko's Dolphins head down into open water, and he gives up the naval yard. Kind of an interesting idea. I'm not sure. Maybe he's going to try to get the naval yard. How did Kwos see those Dolphins? Weren't they stealth? How does that work?
That was impressive. He went straight to the Dolphins and just shot at them. What the fuck? Yeah, I don't know. All right, cool.
Yeah, well, getting the job done. So Marko has still never recaptured this oil. The game is going on in theory. Marko back in the water, and I think Marko's understanding is clear here. If I don't get value with an aircraft carrier, I'm going to lose this game. If I get value with an aircraft carrier, I'm probably still going to lose this game. But I think he needs to try to find a way to get established in the water. I don't know if he has any other option really here.
Yeah, I mean, regardless, even if he wanted to, he knows what he needs to do. He just doesn't have the ego for it. I mean, Kwos literally amputated both of his expansions that we talked about, so he doesn't have the money to do what he needs to do. And him having to rebuild his naval yard over and over here, costing a lot of money for him. Kwos, 2 dreadnoughts on the field. He has subs to counter.
Dreadnoughts going to Pound Town right now. The flak boat's out, try to prevent the Eagle counter. Oh, he already lost his AFC. It doesn't matter anyway.
He's about to lose his battle lab. Connies are there.
Conscripts.
Wait, they're not shooting. Wait, are they shooting? They're half shooting. Okay, now they're shooting.
Conscripts on the back side. Kwos everywhere at the same time here. Iron Curtain comes down, and Kwos just an absolute dismantling here in the World Cup Finals.
He's like, I gave you a chance last game. Not today, buddy.
Wow. 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 Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, yeah, like we talked about, it's so easy to go through and say the things that Marko could have done differently, but damn, Kwos came to play.
Yeah, dude, not on this one. I don't know if Marko could have done anything differently. Kwos was just literally making every move, deciding how the game was going to be played, and Marko was just responding to everything that Kwos were trying to respond to everything Kwos was throwing at him. He never was really in the driver's seat.
That's absolutely right. Yeah, I mean, Marko was just a passenger, and throughout that entire series, Kwos setting the tempo, deciding when the battles were going to be fought, how they were going to be fought. And Marko just trying to react. But, I mean, you know, Marko's proven that he can be the kind of player that can still win games like that. And but Kwos just, I mean, I really like the flow from Kwos. I think it's really clear that he wanted that. And to make Marko look like he's making that many mistakes, you know, it takes a lot from a player. So very, very impressive from Kwos. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. I truly appreciate the support. Remember, the Red Alert 2 World Cup is 3 different game modes. This was regular Red Alert 2, but the action continues on. We also have our Yuri's Revenge finals and our Blitz finals. All of them are awesome games, so be sure to check those out. As always, if you're liking this content, liking, commenting, subscribing, all that stuff is free for you. It helps me immensely. All right, to the moon, boys.